Welcome to another episode of Chat with Chatto.
Hey guys, how you doing? This is Jason Ramos with Good Vibes Real Estate Solutions. Welcome to another episode of
Chat with Chatto. Welcome back, guys. Great to be back live with you, Jay. It's been a while since I saw you, man.
Long time,
man. Keeping yourself busy, right?
Oh boy.
But yeah, man. I'm glad to have you back. I'm glad to be here with you guys again on this Wednesday. As always, questions at goodvibesre.com. We need fodder, right? We need stuff to talk about. We wanna share with you guys. We want to give you our experiences, answer your questions, and we want to have a dialogue with you. So either in the comments below, or even better, send the questions at goodvibesre, and we'll be happy to respond and find out what you got going on and see how we can help you.
Yeah, guys, we are struggling to find topics that we feel are relevant to your success. We feel like we went over everything that we possibly can think of. So please help us come up with some topics. Any burning things that you really want to know, we will definitely go in depth on that with you. But please respond to us. All right?
Yeah, it requires a lot. I mean, we're running a full-time wholesaling business, and we talked about earlier consistency and commitment. Like, we're committed to getting you guys a video every week, and we want to make sure that those videos are of value. Because if they're not of value,
right,
it's not good for you. It's a waste of our time. It's a waste of your time. So, we really want to give you something here.
Right.
So today, we want to talk about how to vet out a buyer.
Yes.
Because you get a bad buyer, your buyer falls through, your whole deal falls through. They're the ones that are bringing the cash to the table, that's writing your check. So, how do we normally vet out a buyer, Jay?
All right, cool. So let's rewind a little bit. So we get a hot property. It's under contract, and we blast it out via our marketing. We do text blast, we do email blast, put it on the internet. So now you got a ton of buyers calling you. So what do you do? If it's somebody that you've never dealt with before, how do you know that they're for real? Okay. So there's a couple questions that we normally ask these people. Number one is, how many properties have you purchased in the past? Or is this your first one?
And I think it's probably important to say that, like, even if this is the first property or they haven't purchased that many properties, sometimes those are the buyers that are going to pay more.
Yeah.
Right? So that doesn't mean you're disqualifying them, but it's important information you need to know when you're deciding which buyer to go with.
Right. There's a slew of questions that you ask. Number two is, how are you paying? You know this is a cash offer, right? You know this is a cash deal. Are you ready, willing, and able to buy this within 7 days? Are you familiar with an assignment? All right. So if it's somebody brand new to the business, they might not know what an assignment is. So you have to explain that to them and see if they're still interested. Number number four, you have to tell them that you're using your own title company. All right. So every time we get a property under contract, we send it to our title company. We stay in the middle of the whole transaction. We are running the show. So it goes to our title company, and they have to be good with that. We are using blah, blah, blah title company.
Absolutely.
The transaction has already been started. We should have clean title in a couple days. That's a prerequisite. If they...
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, so does that mean, does that mean they can't get hard money?
No, hard money's fine, just as long as they can get the hard money within a certain amount of time.
So, but the one thing I want to put out there, that it does make a little bit of a difference depending on the particular property, because when you're dealing with hard money, that person's going to have to most likely get an appraisal, right? So it's not going to be that the deal's contingent upon the appraisal, but you're going to have to be able to get somebody in to do the appraisal. It's going to be another point of access where you're going to have to get somebody into the property. If your seller's cool, if access is easy, if it's on a lockbox, that is great. If you have a tenant-occupied property or a property where you can't easily get in, you need to take that into consideration. You might have one offer with hard money and another offer with straight cash, and you may be willing to take a little less to know that the deal's going to get done and get done quickly.
Cool. Yeah, so all of this you're doing on the phone. You're vetting them out on the phone before you even set the appointment, before you even waste your time getting this person into the property. So if they don't meet pretty much all of the criteria there, then you know that they're not for real, they're not the buyer for you. So they must be able to put a sizable deposit, non-refundable down. They're using your title company. They have to have knowledge of an assignment of contract. They have to be willing to do an assignment of contract. And they have to have some type of experience and be able to pull the trigger very quickly. if they are not experienced and they're not ready to pull the trigger, they are not the buyer for you. Do not waste your time. All right?
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're going to be shopping them around. All right, we're looking for non-tire kickers in this situation. You have a property under contract, you have to get it sold quickly. So don't waste your time, and don't waste your owner's time. So if the property's occupied and it has tenants there, or it's owner occupied, you don't want to waste your time bringing somebody who's not going to buy this property. All right, so your time is limited to show these properties.
Yeah, so another thing that I know as a buyer, when I buy properties, and sometimes wholesalers come to me with deals, the way they approach me as a buyer, like as the wholesaler bringing me a deal, it doesn't really work for me as a buyer, right? So what I mean by that is, like a lot of times you're going to ask for proof of funds, right? I don't think we ever ask for proof of funds. Like, what's the point of proof of funds? So that's just one of the things I want to put out there. It's like a lot of wholesalers, oh, well, I'm not even going to show you a deal unless you give me a proof of funds. Well, I'm not going to give you my proof of funds not even knowing what deal it is, where it is, what street it's on, right? So don't make it hard for your buyers to get information. But don't jump through hoops and don't take them to properties and show them properties and get them into your deals unless you vetted them out. So it's kind of like a balance.
Right. And then, the proof of funds is their deposit. If you take them to the property and they like it, they have to sign the contract and put a deposit with your title company within 48 hours. Otherwise, that shit is null and void.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that right there, exactly. That's your proof of funds. If they're willing to put up $3,000, or if it's a bigger deal, $10,000, whatever it is, they're willing to put up a non-refundable deposit of a sizable amount, right? They know that they can close. They've kind of pre-vetted themselves out. So that goes a long way. And also just in the conversation with them, just to find out how they buy properties and are they using private money, it really does go a long way.
Right. And one more thing to keep in mind is that I just lost my thought. No, I had it. It just escaped me that
really
quickly. Yeah,
that's crazy.
But
like, so that being said, it's like your buyers. Another big thing when you're dealing with buyers and vetting them out, you got to let them know, right, up front, that they're paying the closing costs. And you need to get clear on what the closing costs are. As a wholesaler, or even as a buyer, when you're buying a property, you do it multiple times. You do it a lot. You're used to it. Your seller, on the other hand, is not used to selling properties. They don't sell a lot of properties, right? So when they hear closing costs, they don't know in their mind. They might be thinking it's $10,000. They might think it's $5,000. Who knows in their mind what they think the closing costs are, right? An experienced buyer closes enough deals. They have a good idea what the closing costs are going to be. So as a wholesaler, when I'm getting a property, or even a buyer, when I'm getting a property under contract, like that puts the seller so much at ease to know that, like, if I'm offering them $100,000 for their property and they owe $80,000, they're going to walk away with $20,000, right? As opposed to, well, how much am I going to walk away with $20,000, or is it going to be $15,000 or $16,000 or $17,000? Like, so that goes a long way. And then you transfer that to your end buyer. They're going to need to be in the loop in that, because they're going to need to know, well, yeah, I'm offering, $120,000 and I have to pay the closing costs, right? And then there's some things that you argue about as far as what's a closing cost. Is a transfer tax a closing cost? Is an escrow holding a closing cost? So those are the kind of things that you want to vet out ahead of time and make sure your buyer's in the loop on.
Guess what? I remember what I was going to say.
Nice. Cool. See?
You were talking so much, I forgot. I was waiting for my turn. It was like double judge trying to jump in there, but
a little bit of pontification.
Yeah.
It's the word of the day.
That's what it is. So before you lock it up with a buyer, we don't put inspection contingencies in our contracts. So the buyer needs to know that this is the property that they want before they lock it up.
Yes.
So there is no due diligence period. It's over. So once they sign on the dotted line, they are buying this thing. All right. So make sure, like, if they say, "Oh, I want a 5-day inspection period," no, you do your inspection prior to. You get in there prior to signing on the dotted line, and if it's gone before you get it, sucks to be you. You should have acted quicker. So you do not give them a due diligence period. That is done before they sign on the line.
Yeah, and I think part of that is you need to realize that inspection, like a buyer's inspection, is more typical, obviously, with retail deals, because a retail deal is more being sold to a consumer, and the consumer needs a lot more protections. When you're an investor and you're buying properties on a regular basis, like, you need to know, like, you got to put a contingency. There might be termite damage, right? You should be able to look at the property and see, like, okay, is there termite damage? You're going to know, like, yeah, that water heater's older, the roof's older. Like, you need to know those things, right, to be able to come in and close quickly with cash, right? You can't get an inspection period and all this other stuff and quick cash closing pricing at the same time.
Right.
They're different. If you want all those inspections and all that other stuff, great, you're going to pay more.
Right. You're going to pay more, and you're doing that ahead of time. And if the deal is not available anymore by the time you're done, that's on you. So, guys, that's it. That's dealing with buyers in a nutshell, how to vet them out. So
Absolutely.
please give us some questions and comments. Give us some ideas of how we can better help you. We want you all to be successful, but we need to know how to help you. We need you to engage with us. Otherwise, we don't even know if this is worthwhile. All we're doing is talking right into a camera. So you, right here, I'm talking to you, the person that's watching us right now. What do you want from us? How can we better help you? How can we help you make more money in this wholesaling business?
Absolutely.
Want to hear from you. Questions at goodvibesre.com.
Well, before we wrap up, though, let me throw this out there, right? We want to have a conversation with you. As I said on the video before, the last two videos, we have our Chat with Chatto Facebook group, right? Come there, interact with us. We're both in the group. We both interact in the group. It's still small, it's still intimate. So now's the time to get in. There's a link below. Go to that link, put in your email address. You'll get an invite to the Facebook group. We'd love to have a conversation with you there, and maybe that'll also help us, give us some topics that we can talk about at length in our Chat with Chatto videos.
Also.
Okay. Wow. This will be a 25-minute video.
Yeah. This is the last one. So now, if you're watching our videos on a regular basis, and now you got your first deal under contract, and you want to come on the show and talk about it, reach out. All right, we would love to have you. We'd love to interview you. We like putting people on the spot, putting on the spotlight and shining on them their success stories. So definitely reach out to us if you have a deal under contract or you need help.
Absolutely.
I'm finally done. I'm complete.
That'd be great. Thank you. Have a great day, and as always,
good vibes always.
Bye.